The new-look Chicago Bulls suffer a loss in their first game, 123-107 to the Toronto Raptors. But were there any positives to take away from the game? We'll talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Sarah Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. This team was a lot more fun than I was expecting. And the reason why I say that is this. Keep in mind, this team has not had a single practice together after the trade deadline with these new pieces. Anfernee Simons, Jaden Ivey, Guerschon Yabusele, they have not had a single practice with any of the other players that have already been on this team. And when you look at it, Jaden Ivey played 33 minutes, Anfernee Simons played 32, Guerschon played 33 minutes. To get these players that have not played any minutes together and actually look, it didn't feel that different than a Chicago Bulls game. No Trey Jones, no Josh Giddey, no Zach Collins in this game. Take it for what you will. It wasn't a pretty game. I'm not saying that like we should all of a sudden be hopeful for this roster. I'm just saying that it was better than I was expecting. Maybe my expectations were just so low that anything that looked halfway functional would have been good. Maybe that's the case of it. But hey, for what it was worth, it didn't look absolutely god-awful and terrible. Keep in mind, the Toronto Raptors are a pretty damn good defense. They're 31-22 on the season. So, the Bulls now 4 games below 500. Take that for what you will. We were led in scoring by Anfernee Simons, who basically had a green light the entire game. 8 of 15 from the field, 6 of 13 from three-point range, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 block from him as well in this game. Buzelis with 18 points, going 7 of 11 from the field for 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block from him. Jalen Smith, 13 and 9. We used to Jalen being efficient. Isaac Okoro had 10 points. Guerschon Yabusele off the bench had 15. It wasn't a terrible brand of basketball, but take that for what you will. Okay, all right. Like we'll see if it continues, but my expectations were just very, very low, or maybe they'll be better than I'm expecting. But hey, for what it's worth, this one game, it didn't look terrible out there. Jaden Ivey, 13 points, going 5 of 12 from the field, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals in this game. He did have 2 turnovers in this game as well. Jaden Ivey, to me, my personal, my eyesight, when it comes down to it, is that Jaden Ivey still, he very much so looks like he doesn't trust that leg to me. That's just my personal opinion. Looks like that knee is not something that he trusts, because there were just some time, like I've watched a lot of Jaden Ivey over his career, and he had such a quick first step. He was so decisive when he had the ball in his hands before the injury, and then it seemed like there's some times he was timid out there. But for what it's worth, he didn't shoot the ball terribly. 5 of 12. He was 3 of 5 from three-point line. Had 6 assists, only 2 turnovers in that time. So, for the Bulls to be a team that hasn't had a single practice together and to basically keep up the pace that we're used to for the Bulls and have 15 turnovers as a team, tighten that up. Let's get some actual point guard in here, and we'll see what's going to happen, man. We'll see what's going to happen. Yeah, that's all I can say on that one, bro. But for what it's worth, the Toronto Raptors, Give it up to the Toronto Raptors, who played a really good game today. Brandon Ingram with 33 points. Emmanuel quickly with 24 points. Jacoby Walter had 12 points as well. If I'm not mistaken, they only had 1 player off the bench that scored in double figures, but it is what it is. But Yabusele, who also, I do want to point out, like Yabusele already basically decided or they agreed to for him not to pick up that player option next year. He's probably not going to stay here, but hey, it is what it is. The Bulls have 30 games left now on the season. 30 games left for the remainder of the way through the season. And I would not be surprised at all if we win maybe 5 or 6 games over that time. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Now, maybe that's just me and being upset with this team and this front office like I am. But I guess we'll see what's going to happen. What's happening here? Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me fix this real quick. I know what's causing it. Go that. Let's turn that down. All right. That should fix it a little bit. I don't know why I've had some issues with the stream today. Drop frames. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna exit out and come back in. Give me 1 second. Hopefully we're a little bit better now. Hopefully things are back operating correctly now. We should be good. We should be good. We should be okay. Everything should be good. But sometimes technology, you just got to kick it in the ass a little bit is all I can say there. Nope, it's still not working correctly. So we may not be having a full stream on this episode today, y'all. I apologize if we're not going to be able to. I have no idea what's going on with OBS, why it's not working correctly. But hey, we'll see how long it's going to act the way that we needed to act. If it starts getting too bad out there, the way that we needed to act. If it starts getting too bad out there, we're just gonna go ahead and end it. That's all I can say. It looks good for you guys. Okay, if it's good, it's good. We'll leave it there. Sometimes technology just doesn't work the way we want it to, is all I can say. But yeah, if it's looking good for y'all, then we're gonna keep it going. But with that said, all I can say is, the game, when trying to, I don't really have like an evaluation for this game. I'm not trying to have some over crazy evaluation when it comes to this game. I'm not trying to look too much into it. This team has not had a single practice together. And so as the practice gets better, as they get some time to practice, they get some rhythm, we'll take a look at it. 30 games left in the season. I don't expect a whole lot. I would not be surprised if when it comes down to it, maybe the Bulls win maybe 10 games out of this 30. Like, if they do that, I mean, if they finish the season, 30? That would be put them 34. I mean, it is what it is. It's not gonna be a lot. I'm not expecting a whole lot from this team this season. It's more about evaluation, and truly about evaluation. I know we talked a lot about it being evaluation season in a lot of ways for the Bulls, but it's truly an evaluation season right now. Because not only are you evaluating, do you want to keep Simons long-term? Hell, does Simons want to stay here long-term? Does Jaden Ivey show you the flashes? Because now he's a restricted free agent. You have to make a decision on if you're going to sign him long-term. How do they look with Giddey? What that, like, this is now even more important of an evaluation period for the Bulls, because now you have ties to nobody. Nobody, right? Josh Giddey has his contract. Trey Jones has his contract. Modest Buzelis has his contract. Other than that, everybody else on the roster, you're evaluating to see if there's anything in this fit that makes you feel comfortable about keeping them long term. And so because you may not have that, you now it becomes even more important, the eyes that you have on these guys, because now you're going to be looking at like, I said Jalen also has a contract. I forgot Jalen. And Arturis did mention Jalen Smith as the core member. Like, that was the first time we've ever heard Jalen mentioned as a part of the core. So he said, and mentioned Noah Essengate too, right? But we're not going to get to see Noah. So you're really trying to see what these guys show you. No Colin Sexton tonight, so that's another one that when he gets back, you're going to try to, see what you have in him in an evaluation period. And that's really what this next phase is about for the Bulls, is evaluating who and what you want around on your team for a more long-term basis. So no Nick Richards. When we see him, we're going to see how we evaluate him going into next year. Buzelis did a great job as a backup center tonight for what it was worth. But you're really looking at those guys and saying, hey, who's going to stay here? And for the Bulls, and I'll say this. Not to say that it was the right moves or anything to do, because I'm not saying that. But now, because you don't have ties to any of these players, hopefully AK is able to do, and Eversley are able to do an honest evaluation and then be more aggressive about going out there and getting guys that they need to fill out the rest of this team. That's really all I can say. Go out there and see who really is going to, what do you really, you have a chance to really reshape this team into whatever you want it to look like. And so there's no excuses. You got Billy Donovan's style. You know what style of basketball you want to play. You got the players that you're saying is part of your core. So you got the players that you want to build around, right? And so between the draft, free agency, and the trade market, because keep in mind, even though the Bulls are going to have a very open roster next season, you're in a position, all those second round picks that you've established, like I'm gonna lay this out, right? And again, I'm not saying that I expect the Bulls to do any of this. I'm just saying what tools are at AK's disposal is that now, because you have an open roster, you have $128 million in cap space. If you go out there, and for example, I'm just mentioning this name because he's a player out there. He doesn't fit the team. It's just the first name that comes to mind. But if the Bulls do look at Memphis and they say, hey, we want Ja, and we know you want to get rid of him, there's not a market for him, we'll give you 5 second-round picks, lottery protected first, we don't even need to get no salary. You don't need to take no salary back. We can absorb the contract. They can do that, right? They can do that. If Nick Claxton, if they want to absorb that contract. So, the Bulls are in a proper place where they can really evaluate some things and really truly make some meaningful changes to this roster. Now, the problem is that AK is a fucking idiot. And AK is such a dumbass that I don't expect him to do any of that. Now, if you told me prime John Paxson was running this team before Gar Forman came here with him, if you told me a prime John Paxson was still the GM of this team and you gave him all the tools that the Bulls are going to have at their disposal, an $18 million trade exception, another $8 million trade exception, right? All these things, I would trust him to use it. But AK is a stupid idiot. He's dumb. He's stupid. And I don't trust him to do anything with it. So he's going to have to show me. He's going to have to show me. And that's all I can say to that. But you got the tools at your disposal. Now go out there and prove to us that you're actually willing to use it. And if you are going to do that, then we'll see what you got for this team. We'll see what you can bring for this team. We'll see. So, that's all I can say. That's all really that we have right now as Bulls fans, is that we have an open canvas. That's the way to describe it. The Chicago Bulls are a blank canvas. Now, AK's talked so much about trusting. Remember, keep in mind, I'm still holding him to what he said. He said, give patience into the summer of 26. We're going into the summer of 26. What are you going to do? You have a blank canvas that you can paint with. And you got some pretty solid pieces to start with. Josh Giddey, able to average a triple-double. Trey Jones, his backup, one of the best backup points in the league. You got your young, promising player in Modest Buzelis. You got a solid young piece in Jalen Smith. You got Noah Essengay, who better goddamn well get some minutes next year. And then you got all this open canvas that you can play with. Does Jaden Ivey give you enough confidence to where you feel comfortable giving him a deal? Does Anfernee Simons continue to score the ball efficiently? And does you feel confident about his ability to come into this team? And then how do you go out there and solve your big man? Because you still need a center. You still have not done anything to address your long-term center problems. So we'll see. And like I said in my earlier video today, there's no other options for AK after this. And there shouldn't even be this one, if we're just being frank. AK, Billy Donovan, this whole shit, if you can't get it together now, y'all got to get the fuck up out of town, bro. You got to get the fuck up out of town. So that's all I can say to that. That's all I can say. And we'll see what the Chicago Bulls do with it. You have a blank canvas. Go out here and use it, and let's see what you got. And that's all we can really ask for. That's it. It was better than I thought, but the Raptors just couldn't miss a bucket. We got Denver Saturday. We're about to get demolished. And so we got one more game after Saturday, I think. Then we have the long break, if I'm not mistaken. Let me take a look. I know we got a long break in there. So we got a game Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, and then we got a week off. We got 8 days off after that. So we got 3 more games into the All-Star break. Let's see what the Bulls can do with it. Let's see what they can do with it. Gideon Richards will make this team a lot better. McClung and Yuki need to stay in the G League. Yeah, they will be going back to once everybody's healthy, they won't be playing on the main roster. It doesn't look nearly as bad as I thought for a team that hasn't played together, but it was a pretty exciting. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun game. From the standpoint of just watching basketball, it was a very fun game. I'll give them all the credit in the world for that. It was a fun and entertaining game to watch. Bro, I miss Ayo and Kobe. Like, I was genuinely looking for them. But when Giddey and Trey Jones come back, maybe we got something. Is Giddey ever coming back, or does he have a major? No, it's not a major injury at all. They may hold him out to the All-Star break. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, just to give him that runway to return. So don't be surprised if you don't see him until after the All-Star break. We'll see, though. We'll see. Gideon Simons could be really good duo. Listen, I said that when we acquired Anfernee Simons, and that's not to y'all know I'm not here to gaslight y'all. Anfernee Simons off ball is a really good off ball player. He's almost a career 47% on off ball catch and shoots. You give him a point guard like Josh, and keep in mind, Anfernee Simons has never played with a ball distributor like Josh Giddey. Dame isn't that. He's not that. That's not the type of point guard Dame Lillard is. They don't have that type of point guard in Boston. He's never played with that type of point guard. You get Anfernee Simons with a true distributor and orchestrator of an offense like Josh Giddey, maybe you got you something. Maybe you got you something. I don't feel confident in it because at this point AK has ruined my confidence, but I guess we'll see what it's going to be. I honestly think AK would go after Ja. There was a rumor right before the deadline that said we weren't treated. We weren't treated. That said we weren't treated. I don't know what you mean by that. But there were rumors around that the Bulls called on Ja, but I think at that point, like, they were just calling for anything. To be honest with you, I think the Bulls were just kind of looking for anything. And I said Ja, but I was more so just pointing out Ja because, like I said, it was the first name that came to mind. If the Bulls can land Boozer, can he play center? No. Cam Boozer's not a center. Not a center at all. I'm concerned with Modest as the new leader of this team. His game style has just changed. It feels like he decreased his confidence. I don't think Modest is the leader of this team. I don't think you can say that Modest is the leader of this team right now. So I don't think we can say that. Yeah, Simon's just getting better. We'll see. I'm not going to look too much into one game. He has a lot that he's going to have to show on this team before we can say that. And before I can say that. I'm not saying that you're wrong for feeling that way. I'm just saying for me to say that, we got a lot of way to go before I feel comfortable saying that. Vooch was a good stabilizer, but I truly think they naturally get better without his ass anyways. We'll see. Simon scored 22 in his first game with us. I'll sign him to extension for. See, y'all be terrible GMs. I'm just gonna let y'all know I love y'all, but y'all are too wishy-washy based off one game. You got to see a lot more before you should be saying sign a player to an extension. Don't think we need Sexton. Ivy will be really good once he settles and stops hesitating. I mean, listen, you can say that, but the fact of the matter is he's doing that. So at this point, because he is doing that, we may need Sexton. We'll see. Like I said, I'm just trying to see what these guys show for the remainder of the year. I'm not going to get too the wins or losses at this point don't matter to me. I'm just trying to look at, all right, who do I feel like should stay on this team? That's all I'm looking at the rest of the way on this team. I don't expect a lot of wins. I just don't. Right? I don't have an high expectation for that. But we'll see. We'll see what this team shows. As a mate says, do you think the Bulls try to re-sign Ayo in free agency? I'm praying for. Listen, that's copium. Now listen, Ayo is about to go on a playoff run with the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's very hard. Listen, I get it. He's from Chicago, all that type of stuff. It's very hard to go back and say, damn, Let me go back home to Chicago and lose 40 games a season after I just went on a playoff run with a legit team. That's difficult. That's real difficult. So, we'll see what happens there. I'm not saying that maybe it's not possible, but it just sounds like copium right now. Considering the Bulls had convos with Pelicans, do you think it's possible offseason picks up on that again? I mean, it's possible. Now, I would say this, you got to keep in mind, the Bulls aren't going to have the players to trade, right? So if they do pick back up talks with the Pelicans, it's probably going to be more from the standpoint of absorbing money. So you're probably sending out picks. Maybe that's why AK stacked with 14 second-round picks. Because you have so many players that contracts are up. You're probably not sending Jalen Smith for that. So, we'll see. I mean, anything's possible. We've seen it happen before where we've heard, talks during the season happen, the deal doesn't get done, and they pick it up in the offseason. I mean, you look at the Bulls. They traded with the Kings each of the last 3 seasons they made a trade with the Kings. So you just never know. You think Missy will still be a target this offseason, especially since Sinners just got Zubac? Pacers just got Zubac. Potentially. It's a possibility. I'm not going to rule it out. I won't say that it's going to be that for sure either, but I won't rule that out for this team. Kobe had handling issues and fixed it last year. Modest needs to do the same. I mean, yeah, but look at Kobe's handling issues this year. His turnovers were some of the highest of his career. So, but listen, Modest is still only in year 2. He's a very young player. There's still a lot of time for him to grow his game and continue to develop. There's a lot of time left for that. And so I like things that are problems right now in Modest's game, who's to say there'll be a problem in 2 years? They may not be. You just got to see. People say once Ivy feels better, you don't realize how bad an injury like that can mess you up. Dude may honestly never mentally recover. Listen, I mean, yeah, there's a chance of that, but I think that even seeing Ivy out there doing what he's doing now while he doesn't trust his knee and still able to put up an efficient 13 points, we'll see, right? The mental part of this, you never know what a player's mental makeup is. We've dealt with that with P. Will, not because of injuries, just because P. Will is a head case. So, yeah, you never know for sure. But these guys are athletes. They're a little bit different, right? And I think eventually you just stop thinking about it and you just go out there and play basketball and do what comes naturally to you. And Ivy has always been a very talented scorer, so we'll see if he can get back to that. My boy Anfernee Simons low-key fucking snapped today. 22 is not a snapping. I'm sorry. We're in 2026. There's somebody putting up 22 in every game. Snapping is you go off for 35, 40. But it was a very good shooting night for him. Very good. Some of the shot selection though was a little bit questionable, but overall it was a good night for Anfernee Simons. Anthony Cole destroyed Ivy's career with that dangerous foul that broke Ivy's leg nearly 2 years ago. That wasn't nearly 2 years ago. That was literally just last year. I think he just had, was in January? It wasn't 2 years ago. Is Anfernee expiring? Yes. I think everybody we got at this trade deadline is expiring. If I'm not mistaken, hold on. Let me go over it. I used to have all our expiring contracts memorized. So Anthony's expiring. Colin Sexton's expiring. Of course, Zach Collins is. We already knew that. Gershon Buzelis expiring. Nick Richards expiring. Jaden Ivey's a restricted free agent, so technically expiring. So yeah, I think everybody but I forgot completely about Rob Dillingham because he's nothing. But Rob Dillingham, of course, isn't. He's on a still rookie scale deal. He has 2 years left after this season. Bulls could have gotten Rocco Zikarsky, Mini Wemby if they were. He's not Mini Wemby. Come on now, yeah, y'all with the comparisons, y'all. But I wouldn't have minded Rocco Zikarsky on this team. Can we get a true center? That center that just they gave us suck, can't shoot 3-pointers to say. So if you want a true center, then they're not gonna shoot 3-pointers. See, y'all be using words and don't know what they mean. If you say somebody's a true center, that means that 3-pointers aren't going to be part of their game. So you don't have to shoot 3-pointers if you want a true center. And let's just be clear on that. Matter of fact, I don't even want my center. I want my center to be able to hit a wide open three if needed. I don't want my center to be a 3-point shooter. We've been there. We've done that. I want my center to keep his big ass around the rim, to rebound, to deter from the rim, to attack the paint and pick and roll, and, occasionally hit a center. I'm more concerned with my center being able to hit a 12 to 15 footer than a three-pointer, personally. Hayes, what's up? Do you see the Bulls going after Walker Kessler if he becomes available? Listen, I think the Jazz have signaled that they're keeping it. Reportedly, the Pacers offered the same thing they offered for Zubac for Walker Kessler. So they offered 2 first-round picks, and the Jazz turned it down. So that tells me that the Jazz are probably planning on keeping Walker Kessler. They're going to have a front court of him and because keep in mind, Jaren Jackson Jr. does not like playing center. They're probably going to have the best rim protection in the league. Depth chart wise, out of Giddey, Jones, Rob, Simmons, Sexton, Ivy, who are the 4 you would say for sure are going to be fully – shit, I can't say anybody's going to be fully healthy. I mean, this is a modern NBA. Like, I can't say anybody is going to be fully healthy. I think you mean if everybody's fully healthy. Josh and Trey, they're both going to have their spot in the rotation. Simons and Ivy, those are the ones that I'd bet on. I think – not to say that necessarily – Ivy is better this season than Colin Sexton, but I think that with Jaden Ivey being a restricted free agent, the Bulls are going to want to take every opportunity to evaluate him this season. So I think Jaden Ivey is going to play a lot of minutes. I think Anfernee Simons is going to play a lot of minutes. Colin Sexton may very well find himself the odd man out because I don't think they love Trey Jones way too much. Way too much. Yeah, Buzelis looked nice. I don't really know how he's played previously. He hasn't really played much with the Knicks. Last season, he didn't have a terrible year last year with the Philadelphia 76ers. He got traded to the Knicks this year, and they just never really played him. And even when he did get in games, he didn't necessarily he played 8.9 minutes per game over 41 games for the Knicks. Last season with the Philadelphia 76ers, though, he played 27 minutes. He averaged 11 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal per game on 50% shooting from the field. So, I mean, based off that, that's a solid forward rotation player for you. I'm not going to act like it's a world beater or anything, but it's a very solid rotational player for you if he's able to get back to that. And I think that's what the Bulls are hoping for. Yo, Hayes, I know you have your doubts about AK, but do you feel like this is the best route to go and land a star and naturally build something potentially sustainable opposed to tanking outright? I mean, yeah, I think so. Like, there's something to be said about not outwardly tanking and actually still trying to win some basketball games. I just think this team is not going to be that good. But they're going to still compete, so you're still going to fight in games, and I think that's probably the best way to go with it. One thing's for sure, Anfernee isn't afraid to shoot. 6 of his 8 made shots were three-pointers. Yeah, I mean, it's really good when you have somebody that's able to come in there and just score. We probably need to almost lose every game to be worth the tank. We have too many wins. Well, here's the thing. No, because when you go and look at the lotteries, teams that outwardly tank and are towards the bottom have not been getting rewarded lately. And keep in mind, this is a deep enough draft to where you don't have to, like, I get it that the players in the top 3 are clearly, they're always going to be better, but this is not a draft where, you can get a day 1 starter that's going to be a 10-year starter for you, probably down to pick 15 in this draft. Like, this is a very, very deep draft, and that's why a lot of people are heralding and appreciative of the Bulls. It's seeming like they're going to prioritize their draft position. So, we'll see what's going to happen with this one. It's going to be an interesting season to cover is all I'll say. A very interesting season to cover. If he's expiring, Anfernee, he probably will want to go to a contending team. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but he didn't look happy to be a – oh, come on, bro. Sid, I'm sorry, sis. I think you're looking a little bit too much into it. But I will say this, you never know. You never know. So Nikola Vucevic is not a true center because he shoots threes. No. I mean, when you look at it, Does he shoot? Is it the most volume of his shots threes? No, I didn't say that I don't need my center. I specifically said I want them to be able to hit an open three, but I don't think you need to be a center that needs to come out there and be a huge 3-point shooter to be a true center. So actually listen to the fucking words that are said. That's what you need to do. While you're over there looking like you sell hot rice balls and rice cakes all damn day. How about that? I think one reason Colin Sexton won't be in the lineup as much as Ivy for how injury prone he is. I wouldn't say that Ivy is too injury prone. He just had a terrible injury. Yeah, I mean, listen, I would agree with you. I wouldn't say that Jaden Ivey has yet earned the injury prone label. I just think that Jaden Ivey is somebody who had a terrible injury and he's still coming back from that. Walker Kessler was right there. That's the big one. Derek Queen wouldn't have fit this team, not with Josh Giddey. And I think that they were prioritizing, and we knew it coming into the draft. The Bulls said it at the draft combine. They're literally focusing on two-way players. They were prioritizing players that can play two-way. Simons studied under Dame. He's gonna let it fly. First of all, y'all be thinking, what do y'all be thinking is happening when players play with each other? Your rent early was legendary, man. Listen, I was so pissed by this team. I'm so pissed by this team. So, but hey, we'll see what's gonna happen, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, not terrible results from the first game, from this one, and we'll see what they do going forward. Hopefully, we get Josh Giddey and we get Trey Jones back on the floor sooner rather than later, and we can really start evaluating what this team's gonna look like and who's gonna stay. So we'll see. But that's the time for today. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBullCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See red, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.